Hello. So I wanted to make a video showing off some of the things I've been working on, just a couple of them. And first is this new hero, the Attributist. I actually made him before the last hero I showcased, but he had a lot of problems with his particles and stuff, and to an extent he still does. There's going to be a lot of caveats and bugs in this video, unfortunately. But anyway, I'm going to save this for last, and I'll explain why later. So the first spell, Punishment, basically it launches a projectile in front of you. The projectile is like a constant distance it travels, so you can only aim it by standing the correct distance away from your opponent. And what it does when it hits, now I'll take the numbers with a grain of salt because everything's going to be tweaked a bit, but basically when it hits an enemy it's going to do damage depending on the primary attribute. So since Lion has a lot higher int than he has strength, he took a shit ton of damage from this. He's also stunned for a duration after knocking them into the air. Let me just show you the projectile again by hitting this guy. Now another drawback to this ability is it can hit allies. It was an accident at first, but then I decided to leave it in because I think it's kind of a nice touch. So you end up stunning your ally for about 5 seconds, potentially game losing, but like I say, the numbers are going to be tweaked. The second hero is just a simple toggle spell. You enter Wraith form, you nullify all your presence, and what that means is your mana is reduced to 0, you're muted and disarmed, so you cannot attack or damage anyone by any means, but you do become invulnerable and you get free pathing like this. So that's all that does. You also have to pay 50% of your HP as magical damage to use it, so you can't deny yourself. Let me show you that real quick. Anyway, the ultimate is probably the spell I'm proudest of so far. I had a lot of problems getting the effect to work exactly how I wanted to. I had to make some compromises, but the particle effect is beautiful. So basically what this is gonna do is when it hits an enemy, it's going to completely negate their primary attribute and also deal pure damage equal to the total of my attributes times a number. So obviously, straight away you're thinking, this is really good against strength heroes, and you're right. Unlike this spell, where it's better if your opponent has a primary attribute other than its strength, for this one it absolutely obliterates strength heroes. But first let's test it on Lion. You can see that damage, it's pretty impressive. But now let's see Roshan Prime. Now the stat reduction happens after the damage, so you don't just instant kill every single strength hero, but you almost instant kill them. So the new mechanic. So what the new mechanic is, it takes a lot of inspiration from Bleach vs. One Piece, and I think maybe Battle of Characters had something kind of similar, but I honestly don't remember about the items in Battle of Characters at all. But they had like hero specific items, which is close to what I'm going for, but the items I made can be bought on every hero. They just have special benefits for some heroes. So last video I had this already as a nice little preview, and basically every hero starts with unenlightened, but then you can see here if but then wait. Wrong shot. But then once they get their item, they achieve enlightenment. Force Dagon is tied to Rubik. Different items are tied to different heroes. I might as well show what Force Dagon does. It's pretty self-explanatory. Forces enemies way back. That's all it does. It gives good stats, 30 int, some HP regen. But anyway, So what Rubik's, I haven't done the description yet, but what Rubik's spell basically does is, you might have noticed that HP went up, and that's because we're gaining more HP per strength. This is essence efficiency. So basically what it's gonna do is it's gonna boost our attack speed per agility, it's going to boost our HP per strength, and it's gonna give us 1% spell amp per 4 points of intelligence. So pretty crazy spell amp. Now I hope you remember how much damage this did before to this lion, and let's see how much damage it does now. So almost an instant kill, not quite. You can imagine if I had an inventory full of items. That did no damage. That's kind of a... I've got to admit, that's kind of shocking. Okay. Oh! yeah. I get it. So it did no damage because this damage is on a primary attribute. And this made this primary attribute 0 for 10 seconds, so it did 0 damage. It's a pretty cool interaction, so you definitely want to use this first. For example, this guy's just gonna die. By the way, let me just show off this particle a little bit closer, because I am very proud of it. Oh, it is beautiful. But anyway, oh, you can use this on teammates, by the way. It's less useful on teammates than regular force theft, but it's an option. Let me show off one more of these items, and then I'll show this spell off. So this is Sven. With Sven you have Whirlwind, you have Limit Break. You have this nice passive which boosts which gives you damage per every point of strength you have, and you have Disarm, which get another enemy because we killed the others. So yeah, that's all that does, and you can see it has a 20-second cooldown. Now Sven's item is made from... Oops. Alright, this is a bot. Give bots item. It's made from Moonshot and 2 Blades of Alacrity. Should be UT Lua. You can see his item is Unceasing Top. I haven't put the attack speed in there yet, because it's a little more complicated to do things like that, but I'll do that after I'm done. If your mana is full, resurrect after 5 seconds. That's what that does. And it has no cooldown, if you're wondering. It's supposed to be abusable for this hero. But, yeah, as you can see, when I skill this, my cooldowns are going to be reset every second. Item cooldowns and spell cooldowns. Now, the reason this is somewhat balanced, although obviously I'm not really sure if it's balanced, is because we're limited by our mana pool. It's give bots item echo. So that's going to give us some mana regen and a bit of mana. Now each time we use this, we're going to lose intelligence equal to our base intelligence, so it's going to go back down to 3. So the problem with this is you only have 3 mana, so a lot of the items you want to use it with, you can't really, realistically, unless you just don't use this, it's such an option. But items like Echo Saber, which don't cost mana, are very good on this hero, because we also lose attack speed every time we use this, I believe. 253. 2-3, yeah. Every time we lose this, we're going to lose like 50 in attack speed. Right now, we just skip to level 25, and we have this 180 attack speed item at like 9 minutes, so it's hard to appreciate, but in a real game, you would be on like minus 100 attack speed at least. So having this Echo Saber is pretty huge. Some give Item art. Oh, I fucked it up actually. I just want him to take a hit so I can demonstrate. You see, the Echo Saber comes off cooldown straight away, so it compensates for all your attack speed. Look at that. Anyway, like I said, I'll tweak the numbers a bit, but before I go, I still gotta show this off. Now what this does is it applies a debuff to the enemy you hit, depending on their primary attribute. In heroes it silences, agility heroes it disarms, strength heroes it just stuns. So, for example, Lion will be silenced. You can see that's for a fair bit of time. Now the reason I waited to the end to demonstrate this is because recently there's been a particle bug that I haven't been able to solve as of yet, which this doesn't follow and it actually doesn't disappear, so it's unfortunate. I'll have to fix that later. But yeah, I just thought I'd show that off. Well, everyone hasn't ceasing. Alright, I just thought I'd show that off, reveal this sort of new mechanic I've got. I think it's pretty cool. It's not replacing Aghanim's upgrades, there's also going to be Aghanim's upgrades on top of it. I haven't got around to just yet, but thank you for watching, that's all.